They insulted his nephew. His revenge would change the world. In the age of sand and swords, an era of ignorance known as the Jahiliyyah, one man's footsteps echoed with such authority that it was said even death itself paused to listen. He was the hunter of the great desert lions. In the heavens, the angels knew him by a single awe-inspiring title, Asadullah, the Lion of Allah. This is the immortal story of Hamza ibn Abdul-Muttalib. Before he was the Lion of Allah, Hamza was the Lion of the Quraysh. He blossomed into the epitome of Arab manhood. He was tall, powerfully built, and possessed a charisma that drew people to him. His greatest passion was the hunt. He was respected, admired, and above all, feared. Yet, for all his nobility and strength, his heart was still veiled by the traditions of his ancestors. The persecution of the small, fledgling community of Muslims had escalated. One fateful afternoon, the vile and arrogant Abu Jahl ambushed the Prophet. They unleashed a torrent of the foulest insults, threw dust and filth upon his blessed head. Through this disgusting ordeal, the Prophet ﷺ, an embodiment of divine mercy, endured it all with a profound, heartbreaking patience. He did not retaliate. At that very moment, Hamza was returning from a hunt. A servant girl, who had witnessed the entire shameful episode, ran to him. "Oh, Abu Umara," she cried, "your family's honor has been trampled in the dust." Hamza stopped dead in his tracks. The thrill of the hunt vanished, replaced by a cold, rising tide of disbelief, then a volcanic eruption of protective fury. This was not about religion. This was about blood. At that very moment, Hamza was returning from a hunt. A servant girl who had witnessed the entire shameful episode ran to him. "Oh, Abu Umara," she cried, "your family's honor has been trampled in the dust." Hamza stopped dead in his tracks. The thrill of the hunt vanished, replaced by a cold, rising tide of disbelief, then a volcanic eruption of protective fury. This was not about religion. This was about blood. He stormed into the gathering. He strode directly to Abu Jahl, raised his heavy, hardened bow high into the air, and brought it crashing down on his head. The entire assembly gasped. Hamza stood over the bleeding, whimpering man. "You dare to insult him while I am now on his religion? I declare what he declares." In that moment, in the heat of his rage, Hamza had not just defended his nephew, he had declared his faith.
Hamza's journey home was not triumphant. It was tumultuous. The fire of his rage cooled, and the cold whispers of doubt, fueled by Shaitan, crept into his mind. "You, Hamza, the pride of Quraysh, have you abandoned the religion of your fathers?" He spent a sleepless night wrestling with his own soul. His declaration had been made in anger, but was it true in his heart?
Seeking clarity, he went to the Prophet, peace be upon him. He explained everything, the rage, the declaration, the doubts. The Prophet listened with gentle understanding, then spoke to him of the oneness of Allah, the beauty of Islam. As the words of truth flowed into him, the light of faith extinguished the darkness of doubt. Hamza's heart was filled with a profound peace and certainty.
His acceptance of Islam sent shockwaves through Mecca. For the beleaguered Muslims, it was a moment of immense joy and relief. They now had a protector, a champion who would not allow them to be bullied and tortured in the streets. The open persecution lessened, as even the most arrogant polytheists thought twice before confronting a Muslim if Hamza was nearby. His legendary status was forever sealed at the Battle of Badr. Hamza was one of the 3 chosen to open the battle in single combat. Throughout the battle, he was a whirlwind of destruction, a lion let loose, his presence inspiring the Muslims and striking terror into the hearts of his former tribesmen. His unparalleled bravery was a key factor in Islam's first and most decisive military victory. The Quraysh returned to Mecca defeated and humiliated, but their hearts burned with a singular desire for revenge. And one name was whispered with the most venom: Hamza. Hind bint Utbah hired an Abyssinian slave named Wahshi. Kill Hamza, and you will have your freedom and riches beyond your dreams. Wahshi's mission was simple and cold. He was not a soldier seeking honor. He was an assassin with a single target. At the Battle of Uhud, the 2 armies clashed. Hamza, as always, was at the forefront, a force of nature. He plunged deep into the enemy ranks, his dual swords a blur of silver, clearing a path of death and destruction. He was magnificent, an unstoppable warrior fighting for his faith. But Wahshi was not fighting. He was hunting. He took no part in the main battle. He found a hiding spot, watching, waiting for his moment.
As Hamza engaged and swiftly dispatched another Qurayshi champion, he momentarily turned, exposing his side. It was the opening Wahshi had waited for. Sound of a spear whistling through the air. With a practiced, fluid motion, he rose, swung his arm back, and hurled the javelin. It flew through the chaotic air of the battlefield with deadly, silent purpose.
It struck Hamza, the Lion of Allah. He tried to charge, but his strength failed him. He fell to his knees and then collapsed onto the sand, his soul departing to meet its Lord. The greatest warrior of Islam had been martyred. After the battle, the Prophet came upon the body of his beloved uncle, his heart shattered. In this moment of absolute anguish, the angel Jibreel descended, decreeing his new title, Sayyid al-Shuhada, the master of all martyrs. Years passed. Islam triumphed, and Mecca was conquered. Wahshi, the killer of Hamza, lived as a haunted fugitive, certain that his crime was unforgivable. But the Prophet of Mercy, peace be upon him, wished for the salvation of every soul, even his. He sent a messenger to Wahshi with an invitation to Islam and a verse from the Quran. Wahshi traveled to Medina and stood before the Prophet. He confessed his identity and with a broken voice accepted Islam. The Prophet looked at him, and the memories of Uhud brought fresh tears to his eyes. He forgave Wahshi, but the human pain was too deep. "I have forgiven you," he said softly, "but please try to stay out of my sight, for seeing you reminds me of my uncle."
Wahshi understood. He lived his life in the shadows of Medina, a man redeemed but still carrying the heavy weight of his past. He desperately yearned for a chance to atone, to balance the scales of his life. His moment came during the caliphate of Abu Bakr. A false prophet named Musaylimah the liar had raised a massive army, threatening to destroy the nascent Islamic state.
At the decisive Battle of Yamama, Wahshi marched with the Muslim army, clutching the very same javelin that had taken Hamza's life. Amidst the bloody chaos of battle, he saw him, Musaylimah, the great enemy of Allah. With a prayer for forgiveness and a heart set on redemption, he took aim and hurled his weapon one last time. The javelin struck the false prophet, killing him instantly and turning the tide of the battle. Wahshi fell to the ground in prostration, crying out, "With this javelin I killed the best of men after the prophet, and with it today I have killed the worst of men." His soul had finally found its peace. The story of Hamza is a towering epic of courage, transformation, loyalty, and ultimate sacrifice. He was a man who lived and died with the heart of a lion. His martyrdom did not weaken Islam. It watered its roots with the blood of its greatest champion, ensuring it would grow into a tree that would provide shade for all of humanity.
Even when you feel alone in this vast universe, the stories of heroes like Hamza remind us that we walk in the footsteps of giants. Before this video disappears into the algorithm, help us make its roar heard across the world. Every like, every comment, and every new subscriber helps this timeless legacy reach another searching heart. Thank you for watching. May Allah protect you all. Allahu Akbar.